Hello, Nick.
Hey, hi Anna.
Yes.
Thanks for having me today. So I think over 1 month since our first meeting in Dubai. So thanks once again for having me here. Would love to talk and present Symbiosis to your audience and also shed a light upon what we do together with XDAO, our one of the most friendly project, and we are biggest fan of what you do as well. Thanks
Yes,
for your-
thank you, Nick. Welcome to our session. We are very happy to have you here. This is our just the first event, and I think it's a good idea to start with you, with our friend, Symbiosis Finance project, and Nick Avramov. He is CMO at Symbiosis Finance, and today we have prepared some questions about your project, about our cooperation in general, and so let's start, I guess.
Yes, sure. Let's start.
So the first question is about in symbiosis in general. What is the problem in general you solve in symbiosis, and talk about your project, please.
Yeah, I mean, so the problem that we solve is pretty obvious. I would say that it's twofold. So first is the liquidity fragmentation across different blockchain networks. So everybody understand that, especially for, let's say, L1 solutions, lots of liquidity stuck in, I don't know, Bitcoin, in I don't know, Litecoin, maybe as well in Cardano, in different L1s, and people have this liquidity stuck, and this cannot be easily transferred into, let's say, lending protocols, instantly swap to other coins without intermediaries like centralized exchanges, so on and so forth. So liquidity fragmentation is really big problem, and we anticipate that once we can solve this one by one, picking like L1s networks and L2s, so we can have the big influx of money, of assets flowing freely between different blockchain network, between different protocols, etc. And this, in its end, will facilitate crypto space in general. So more people will be coming into the space, assets would be moving freely, people will know about different opportunities that crypto presents, so on and so forth. So liquidity fragmentation is the first problem, but as I said, the problem itself is twofold. So second problem, which is also big, is that currently users are really stuck with different options to perform the swap. So you have to bridge different assets across different networks. So to create yet another USDT, XYZ, blah, 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 something, then to find MMDEX in order to swap this to some more liquid asset on Avalanche side or on Ethereum side, etc. So different infrastructure projects, and there is no single point of access to multi-chain world where you can just pick one asset and exchange it to another one. And that's originally how Symbiosis idea emerged. So we first assembled our team in 2020, in the way 2020, and I recall the date, it was 30 September 2020. So we assembled yet another Telegram chat, like everyone does. So we assembled this chat and started to contemplate about what we can do in the space, since all of us, like who all the co-founders, we have different backgrounds. So I'm more like marketing and business development and blah 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 guy, as you see, given how much things I talk now. But I mean, different backgrounds, and so we assembled and we tried to grasp the idea of what we can do together, how we can improve and shake the status quo in the crypto, what we can do to add value to all those users that already like using existing protocols. So not the idea was not to create something that already exists, like replicating some idea, but create something that really solves real problems for the industry, making it better, facilitating user experience, so on and so forth. And then after constant research of like 6 months or something, we started doing our code base for Symbiosis in early 2021. And then we started our race last summer, and then now we in the point when we present our mainnet. So mainnet, we call it beta mainnet because it has some restrictions and it doesn't yet have non-EVM chains, but we plan EVM chains. But yeah, we present our mainnet. It's fully working product, and we have already some users, which is great.
Yes, so I basically already tried to swap and I just playing around with your platform. I noticed that it's as simple as possible without any additional buttons, without any additional information, just like in a Uniswap, you just need to swap one token to another and you can even find the you can even to add the recipient. For example, it cannot be not your address, but it can be address of your friend in another chain, and this is very cool. So considering this point, you already mentioned that you already that Symbiosis Finance already launched in some blockchains. So basically, the question is where Symbiosis is now, how many blockchains it already covers, and what you plan to do next. Tell
Yeah,
me more.
I already stepped in answering this question partially because I mentioned that we launched mainnet like last month, 9th March. Yeah, so we launched our beta mainnet. Why we call it beta? Because we have some restriction for the swaps. So we have like let's say the selling for the swap is no more than 2,000 in USDT equivalent at the moment, and the bottom is no less than 50 bucks per one swap, but it's done like artificially just to understand how people play around swaps, so on and so forth. So at some point of time, I think next month, we'll lower this barrier to, let's say, $10 or even $5 as low as we can, and moving it also up to, like, I don't know, to almost unlimited number of tokens that people can swap in a single swap. So now we support 5 networks. They are all EVM compatible, as I said. So they Ethereum, BNB, Polygon, Avalanche, and we recently added Boba as well. Boba network, which is L2 on Ethereum, which is pretty great, and we're big friends with the team behind. I know that the last month they also did a raise, and so I think they have capitalization of over 1 billion or something at the moment. They are moving pretty fast, and there is no, I would say, limitation for us to add as many EVM chains and L2 solutions as we can. But our top priority is to show that we can also add non-EVM chains to be like a generalized solution, so that we are not yet another swap platform for EVM chains, but we can do all chains, both EVM compatible and non-EVM compatible. And say after careful research, we understand that it's better to go with Terra because Terra is getting momentum at the moment. They are moving really fast. They are still running upward to considering Solana, but still Terra is really big, and so we understand natural demand from the user worldwide for Terra, for UST, their stablecoin, for so on and so forth. So we decided to go with Terra first, and we have approximate date for this. So Terra will be deployed no longer than on May 10th, so within 2 weeks. Then we have plans for integration of more non-EVM chains. So first of them after Terra will be Near, and then we go with Solana, I think close to June. Then simultaneously we'll also add some more EVM chains and maybe all L2 solutions. It will be dependent really on the demand from the user, from the actual users that we have. That's the first flow. So the flow of adding more networks. For the second thing I want to emphasize is that we are planning integration. So because we, from, like, let's say from very inception of Symbiosis, when we just like started this project, we understand that it's better to cooperate with different players in the market who already exist, who already have some user base, who solves probably different problems that we do, but still they have their audiences. And in crypto, I believe that everything is about building community and solving the problems of different communities. So we are planning different integrations. We present our SDK both for mobile platforms and for web, for browser extension wallets, for instance. So we're planning different integrations, being also a part of Binance ecosystem because Binance Labs is one of our investors. So we are planning to be integrated within almost all Binance ecosystem projects like Trust Wallet, Coin98, safe pool, maybe some more. So we are in talks with different wallets about integration, and naturally we are also expecting that you at XDAO will integrate Symbiosis as well to use for your own needs. Yeah, that's the second thing that we also paying attention to. And third thing, last but not least, we are also planning few listings so that our token is already listed on different platforms like OKX, Hobby, etc. And we are planning more. So this process is not terminated, even though like some of our users in community was constantly asking about when exchange A, when exchange B, and etc. etc. I can disclose the name of this exchange. Everybody knows which exchange is much more tempting for the users that we will be. But still, yeah, I mean, this also is a process, ongoing process. So we are also planning this.
Yes, very cool, very interesting. I think we can dive deeper into the some technical questions. I mean, first of all, just want to ask you about what makes Symbiosis Bridge different from others, because it's maybe a simple question, and the answer will be also simple. But in fact, I know that you use liquidity from indexes, not from your own staking. And can you please describe how it works? And does it mean that, for example, we can swap any token, just any token that whatever exists in, for example, two blockchains?
Yeah, that's great question. To put it simply, the answer how we differ from bridges is that we are not a bridge. That's simple answer to this. But yeah, I mean, why we are not the bridge? Because the idea behind any bridge between two blockchain networks is that bridge is a sort of transport layer between blockchain A and blockchain B. So you pair, let's say pair or peg or whatever word you can use, one token on chain A to another token on chain B, so that you have like representation of this original token on a newly created chain. And so that's why it's called bridge, because it's bridging two blockchain networks. But then when you do this, once it's done, this second problem emerge, the problem of liquidity, because this newly created asset itself is not liquid, because it's yet another, as I said before, USDT XYZ something. It's not traded on Binance, it's not traded on whatever other exchange you can come to your mind. So the problem of liquidity exists. And when we come to liquidity, it's all about if we are not coming down to a centralized exchange or centralized service for swapping these assets. It's all about liquidity pools, all about automated market maker, and combined it's decentralized exchange. The concept called it decentralized exchange. So to pour liquidity into different blockchain networks and to allow free flow of liquidity across different blockchain networks, the bridge is just part of the solution. Second part, what you need is like fully fledged multi-chain IMM DEX. So these two components combined is what Symbiosis is. So we both do two things. So first we bridge assets across different blockchain networks, but then we allow a free flow of these assets. And how we do this? The thing is, and this is answering your second question regarding does it mean that we can do any to any token swaps? Once again, simple answers, yes, we can do. But the thing is, we use stable pools in the middle. So let's say when you do a swap from Avalanche network to Polygon network, for instance. In this case, we route transaction through existing MMDEXs. In case of Avalanche, it would be Pangolin. In case of Polygon, it will be QuickSwap. So we route transaction through this existing MMDEXs and swapping these tokens that we're picking up from the user. Let's say some token created on Avalanche network into stable coin, because most probably if this asset is listed on Pangolin or any other DEX, most probably it either have paired to stable coin because it's natural, or to a native asset on this chain, on AVAX in this case. But then once again, we can change AVAX to stablecoin, and then we can manage this pools of stablecoins. So naturally, the business behind Symbiosis is that we route transactions through different dexes and swap just stables. So Symbiosis pools, if you come across our website and go to pool section, you'll see that all liquidity that people provide to Symbiosis is in stable coins. So it's all about moving between different stable coins, rebalancing pool of stable coins. And why this design we believe is pretty efficient, because it's stables. You don't have impermanent loss for providing liquidity. There is no price spikes in ACE provided, so you can get a guaranteed APR. It's beneficial for the liquidity providers. On the other hand, if this price is stabilized between stable coins, because naturally it's stables, then we can guarantee some price for the users. So price spikes for the users, slippage would not be such big as compared to other existing MMDEXs. For particular MMDEX like Uniswap or PancakeSwap or something. So that's what really helps us, I believe, to stand up from the crowd in terms of what we are presenting to the market. Because since we are leveraging this pretty flexible and yet at the same time secure and stable architecture, we can provide nearly, I would say, pretty much the same price for the swaps multi-chain as Uniswap provides for single chain swaps. That what helps us to do this, and I believe that that's really great. So I would not say that we are only one on the market who working on multi-chain protocols. Different multi-chain protocols exist, but I believe that this architecture is really what set us apart and what I'm proud of naturally, and what I can say that that's really how we differ.
Interesting. Yes, the question come to my mind is about the liquidity staking. So basically, you use the liquidity that is staked in your pool
Mhm.
to perform swaps from one chain to another chain,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
basically, it needs a lot of liquidity to do it. So, for example, if the liquidity will be not enough, the transaction cannot be performed, right?
Yes, the thing is, naturally, we need some liquidity in order to perform the swaps, but we do not need too much liquidity because most of the liquidity stacked, let's say, in existing MMDEX like Uniswap or something, is used this surplus. This additional amount of liquidity is used not to just perform swaps, but to cover price spikes, because in any particular moment price spike for different assets can like vary too highly, and in this case you cannot like provide your service, and so you need this surplus, or you need this as a saving account or something, of this liquidity in order to confront with this like price spikes. With stablecoin pools we don't need too much liquidity because once again it's stables, and so we calculated that on average we are around 25% capital efficient. What does it mean? That in a single point of time, we can, in a single transaction, we can let people convert up to 25% of total value locked in our pools without big price slippage. So that's how people can calculate how much money they can transfer without big slippage. Once again, because of the use of the stables. Because you can go to our pools and see that, let's say, 10 million now locked. So I can, without big price slippage, in one single transaction, I can exchange around 2 mil, and that's like what our capacity is. But I mean, since we are using this stable pools, it's curve-wise stable pools. It's not that we are inventing something new. I always tell to people that Symbiosis, by its name, it's a symbiotic creature. It's not something that we invented that didn't yet exist. We just combine different components of different architectures. So we can combine curve-like pools. We combined threshold signature scheme, which is used in Binance, for instance, Binance threshold signature scheme, and different stuff. We just combine them together in the most efficient way, and so that's what helps us to enable these multi-chain swaps as we do.
Okay, okay. So yes, it's pretty interesting. Yes, so the next question is considering your future plans on symbiosis, maybe the craziest of them you can just share with me. And yes, what actually you expect from symbiosis in the near future, and what you already, maybe you have a plan, so you have some intentions to do something, maybe you want to create some kind of additional smart contracts, additional protocols, something that will create an ecosystem
Mhm.
around that symbiosis.
Mm, yes, the simple answer is yes. We want to naturally to do this, but to be a bit more precise, what we want to do. So our ultimate goal and ultimate vision, I would say, is to be industry standard for cross-chain communication. What does it mean? So that in the future, because we really expect that the future will be multi-chain, so different blockchain networks will exist simultaneously, and they will. So there will be like four main networks maybe that will be competing each with each other, like biggest companies in market. Like they might be Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, and few more. But there also will be a myriad of a bit smaller blockchain networks, specific oriented blockchain network that solve particular problems. But for users to be like integrated, for users, for protocols, for wallets, for etc., to be able to provide service to their users in the most efficient way, they need to be connected to all these blockchain networks, and they need a sort of transport layer between all these blockchain networks that helps to pass tokens between these networks, pass information, code data between different networks, so on and so forth, to enrich user experience. And this is our ultimate goal. So we want to be such a service, even though that people in the future, like let's say in 5 or 10 years, they don't know that it's Symbiosis which is working behind, but still we want to beat this technology of communication between different blockchain networks. That's at least what we are seeing our place in the world of crypto, and we are slightly moving in this direction. In a more in not too lengthy distance, let's say in 1 or 2 years or something, we want to first integrate with as many wallets as we can, so that let's say every single wallet in the market has Symbiosis at least as one of the options for the swap of different tokens. Plus, we also taking a look at different aggregators. So we are in talks of some of them at the moment that provide like, so we are just communication layer between blockchain networks, but there are protocols that are picking up different multi-chain solutions and just to understand which price is better, which provides best rates, which
Like aggregation, right?
Yes. And so we want so different aggregation stuff. We're also thinking about working with them closely. And as I said, at least one protocol, I cannot yet disclose its name because we are just in the very beginning of our partnership. But still, I think in 2 weeks we will announce. We are also thinking about building something with them. And third option is what really inspires me is building different value-added services on top of Symbiosis. So as you said before, and once again, thank you for using our service. At least you said that once you tried. So you mentioned that there is an option in Symbiosis to put a custom address so that you send money not to your own wallet but to a separate wallet. Imagine that you put here, just on top of this, you also put some accounting software, maybe some check software, something, and build a sort of payment system out of this, so that you can print or you can put on the screen of your customer a checkout window to send any token. Let's say you wanna, I don't know, you want to buy VPN, or you want to like order food delivery or something, and you can pay with any token that you have, and it instantly converted into the token that merchant want to acquire. Let's say Bitcoin, or let's say more precisely to our business, I think USDT or some stable coin. And that can be done with Symbiosis because we provide this engine that swaps between different blockchain networks. We can swap any to any token, so that we can provide a grant if we get approached by some third-party developers who have this idea, or if nobody approaches, I will do it myself. We can do this payment network out of Symbiosis so that it's a separate product that serves separate audiences and provides different service from what we do, but still it's working on top of Symbiosis, and it also contributing to what we do at Symbiosis because it's becoming a part of the ecosystem. Ecosystem is partially, I would say, a buzzword nowadays because everybody talks about ecosystem. But yes, it's all about like building some value added service around your core protocol. Pretty
Yeah.
much the same as I understand your strategy as well at XDAO.
Yes, basically, I noticed that sometimes there is a question about how to determine the blockchain in which all the transaction will be paid. For example, if it is a project from the real sector of economy, and people want to, for example, do fundraising or do some stuff for a public, and sometimes public some people use Polygon, some people use Binance Smart Chain, and it makes things very complicated to determine on what blockchain will be the most useful and usable in this case. And yes, sometimes it takes like you need just to find the consensus.
Yes.
And if there is how to say seamless decision and seamless solution to swap even without knowing that it's actually a swap and the cross-chain swap, it will be really cool. Because yes, now in any way you need to like list all the addresses you have in different blockchains to reach the biggest audience, to reach the biggest input from
Plus, on top of this, you also need to think about gas tokens on all these chains and so on and so forth. So I would say the space is pretty complicated at the moment. So tech-savvy people and who in crypto for like let's say 1 year or 2 years or even more, they can understand it. But when you come in the street and talk to people like who doesn't know what, most probably everybody know what Bitcoin is, but not everyone like already put hands into like how it all works. And if you come to random people on the street and asking, okay, send me USDT BIP 20 or something, what does it mean? Why do I need to do this? Yeah, I mean, so in this case, like the convenience, security and convenience is like ultimate vision for what we see, and that's why we are trying to contribute in this direction.
Yes, cool. But the maybe it's not last, but it's
Okay.
very important questions I prepared for you. Is you have a beautiful creature in your logo, and so the question is why the octopus? What is this? Why this creature?
Yeah, I'm really proud that you find it pretty good and pretty friendly.
Cute.
Because yeah, cute because some people find it terrifying, really, because it's some octopus. Like some people like find some parallels with Ghidra, with which this organization in Marvel movies about like secret organization of villains. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. We first, when we created this idea of symbiosis, of symbiotic creature that can swap between different blockchain networks, first metaphor that comes to our mind was octopus that plays different coins, swaps different and flips different coins with his tentacles because he has lots of tentacles like blockchain networks, and so he can simultaneously play it around. And so that was like this. First, it was pretty, I would say, detailed picture of octopus on our website and first version of our website for those who saw it like last maybe August or September. But then we decided to go. One of the I think head of design of one big company, Rival.com, Artem, joined us, and he's really talented guy, and he provided his vision on like the latest design trends, latest trend in product design, in mobile design, and so on and so forth. And we decided to put it in a minimalistic way. So that's how we come to this logo of octopus, yeah, green octopus. But
Cool.
we prefer to talk about it as an alien, not just octopus like from Earth, from I don't know, from down from the ocean, but some alien that come from I don't know, from outer space and so on and so forth, just to make it a bit mysterious, I would say.
Cool, cool. Yes, octopus with the tentacles. I when I say out loud about the octopus, I just come up with the idea. Yes, it's tentacles of many blockchains. That is like connected to in one body. Yes, and now our last question about your token. You have a token called SIS,
Mhm.
and basically the question is how you can use it, how we can use it, and where can we stake it, or any benefits from using and holding this token.
For sure. So naturally, as a cryptocurrency project, we need to have our token because it's how things goes in crypto. But I mean, the natural reason for this token is that since we don't pair all tokens to our native token, like for instance Torchain does, because they have pools like of any token on any random token and Rune token. This design is not really flexible and it's not really efficient, so that's why we're using stables, but we use our our token in relays network. So we have network of relays. So it's like a nodes, different nodes that we are also asking community to run nodes for us. We will be asking at some point of time. Now most of our relays network nodes running out by our investors, and so this relays network is actually responsible for pushing the swaps. So naturally, how it goes in a single point of time, private key is split into several parts, and this parts is mixed in the REST network. And the REST network node have to come to consensus about particular transaction that it's not malicious transaction, there is no double spend, so on and so forth. And then the consensus is done, then this transaction actually takes place. And in this regard, this REST network node have to stake some amount of our token, and this amount is proportional to the volume this particular node can operate, can actually push. And so there is no economic incentive to try to cheat the system because we naturally can slash this node. So first and foremost, use case for our token is this consensus in the REST network that REST network node have to stake some amount of our token. Plus, also our liquidity providers, apart from transaction fee that they receive, they also receive some amount of our tokens as a reward, as an incentivization. So we have incentivization for all of our liquidity pools, and we will have more as long as we are adding more blockchain networks to Symbiosis. Plus, we also thinking about more use cases of Symbiosis token, but that's mostly the one that we have. Plus, since Symbiosis token is already traded on different exchanges, and among them on decentralized exchanges as well, on Uniswap and on Sushi, people also can provide liquidity for these pools on Uniswap or for SushiSwap, and then also receive some funds in terms of the transaction fees. So that's for now all. I mean, we are planning to do more incentivization and more use cases for our token, but now it's just this one. We just wanted to put it in a simplistic way and go one by one instead of like putting lots of use cases from very beginning. So we decided to split it into different time frames so that we go with one single utility for our token, let's say each quarter of the year, so that people can anticipate it, we can warm up the audience about it, so on and so forth. So it's done almost from the marketing perspective.
So you described your staking system is like a additional blockchain inside of like between two blockchains, like proof of. You described the proof of staking actually.
Uh,
So does it mean that you have a blockchain inside of blockchains?
No, not really, not really, because CIS token is ERC20 token at the moment, and where they have to stake these tokens. Now it's operated in proof of authority mode. So as
Okay.
I said, most of our investors now our relays network nodes. So I can name some of them. So for instance, Binance Labs is one of our relays network node. Others include blockchain.com, also our investor Sandeep from Polygon, and few more. And it's not to say that we are running our own blockchain. We are blockchain agnostic. So these pools can be virtually, so in each particular case of the swap, we are just using the cheapest blockchain network. So let's say from swapping from Ethereum to BSC, we're just using BSC, which is recently blended to BNB, but still. We are planning to go with a sidechain, our own sidechain in Symbiosis version 2, which is planned for the late this year, I think close to September. But we will announce it separately. But it will be not like separate blockchain. It will be a side chain, either side chain, or we will be using one of the blockchain networks that of those that we are already using. But we will be using this as a manager network to manage all the pools.
Okay, okay, interesting. So basically, the time is the time is almost half of hour. We are talking about symbiosis, and I just I want to summarize about our partnership in terms of symbiosis and the XDAO work. And yes, so basically, what we did is. First of all, Symbiosis our partners in terms of reference. So each time the people or group of people want to swap any token from one DAO to another DAO, you know that you have a different address in different blockchains from our DAO, and yes, with Symbiosis you can just swap it and to have an address of the recipient, and this is very interesting. We will go further with this, and for sure in the near future we will be going to add this bridge inside of XDAO protocol just to make it like more seamless without any additional actions like connecting to wallet connect and stuff like this. So you also say that you want Symbiosis is going to be like this solution that even will not be like announced that it was by Symbiosis. Is just a feature inside of a protocol, and nobody knows that it will work like in additional cogs. And yes, we in XDAO want to do the same basically. And what we want, for example, we want to create like any DAOs in any you know in this special landing, for example, without any recognizability from XDAO. And for example, just in it will be like another DAO in another chain. And yes, this is the main idea. And for sure, we are going multi-chain. And I'm happy that we covered here the questions about the multi-chain solutions, because yes, it's a big trend. I'm looking for cross-chain solution also. I think we will see the cross-chain, and I hope Symbiosis will also make something for a cross-chain solution. Yes, but just it currently just a dream for us, for all of us.
Well,
Yes, yes. I know that we have like Polkadot with layer 0 and a lot of side chains around it. And we also have a Polygon network that also looks like a layer 1, layer 0 maybe even, and the side chain that they are currently building. Yes, I think it's make us closer to a cross-chain solution. And thank you for Symbiosis that provide us with a very good tool that can solve the issues with multi-chain and transferring tokens. Um, Thank you very much. It's almost a night in our side, so I'm definitely going home. And thank you, Nick, again for
thank
your
you, Anna.
stream, for your presence here. So next in the next week we will participate in your event, I guess, and we will prepare some additional bonuses for those who will participate. right?
That's great. Yes, looking forward to seeing you next week. And yeah, thank you once again for having me today. I believe that this was interesting and useful both for your community and our community as well. And looking forward to do more stuff because I think that with such events, not just MA sessions or interviews or joint articles or something, we are contributing to the space. We are somehow pushing people, letting people know about recent trends, and that's how we can really develop our not just projects but the whole market to a like better to create a better place for everyone.
Yes, yes, that's right. So bye. Thank you
Thank
again.
you. Take care. Bye.